Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 280 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. My guest this week is Rory Rodriguez, the lead singer from Dayseeker, who are getting ready to release their new album, Creature in the Black Night, next Friday, October 24th. I caught Rory while he was on his tour bus in between dates, and we talked about everything from the new album to playing shows with Ice Nine Kills, Halloween, parenting, songwriting, and more. I was really happy that Rory accepted my invitation to come on the show, and it was really cool to meet him. So allow me to introduce you to Rory Rodriguez from Dayseeker. Well, hello. How are you? Thank you so much for taking the time.
I'm good. We're Orlando bound for some more shows, but yeah, doing good. We're almost at the end of this Ice Nine Kills tour.
You're on the bus right now moving, which is not common because a lot of bands try to get off the road and go to a hotel or something and like get away from the quiet. How do you find traveling on a bus?
I mean, it's definitely an upgrade from traveling in a van, so I will take it. Yeah, it's pretty good most days. We usually would be at a hotel by now, but we decided to kind of power through to Orlando for the off day because we play Orlando tomorrow, and I think we're trying to go to like Universal 4 nights tonight or something. So this is kind of a longer drive. We're usually at the hotel by like noon. So it's a little different for us today. Depending
on the band, it's all personal preference how many days off you get in a week. Sometimes singers say, oh no, I need, 2 or 3 shows, then a day off just to rest my voice. I love the fact that you guys are powering through so you can go to like an amusement park. I love that for you. Yeah. It's not super common, but it's the only time we've done it on this tour too. So I don't know, I guess we like doing fun stuff on the off days. I hear about some bands who just like hang out in their hotel rooms the whole time and they're super reclusive, but we like hang out with the band, with our crew. It's a good time usually. What have you done on this tour on an off day in a city that was fun that you didn't expect to be fun? It's funny. We did like another horror thing together in Vegas. They had some horror themed kind of walkthrough thing that we did, and they had like mazes that were based off like The Exorcist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Walking Dead, and it's just funny. You pay a lot of money for people to just jump out and scare you, which seems kind of funny in hindsight. But yeah, I don't know. The Universal one's supposed to be cool. There's like a whole Terrifier themed one, and I think a few guys from the Funeral Portrait are going too. So we're probably going to meet up with them and say what's up. You guys are all going to be at the DCU Center in Worcester as part of the brainchild of Spencer Charnas and the Silver Scream Con and the big arena show that's kind of in the middle of the convention. Yeah, very excited for that one. I heard they're having like a bunch of because they kill a bunch of people on stage while they're playing, and it's very theatrical. And I heard because they have like Art the Clown from Terrifier, like in their stage show, and I heard the actual like Art the Clown was going to come on stage for their set, so should be cool. I'm excited to see the show, and yeah, I checked it out. It's a big venue. It's like 14,000 or something.
That's where I saw my first concert ever. And I just talked to Spencer Charnas yesterday because that city is where he started the band. And so it kind of kicks off. I mean, look, every day is Halloween for me, but the Silver Scream Con kind of kicks off the whole Halloween season for us up here.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to be a part of it. I think it's gonna be cool.
When you were a kid, what was your favorite Halloween costume? Because I know you, like me, Halloween is the thing for you.
I don't know why my parents let me go to school in there used to be this animated show called Gargoyles. I don't know if you remember that from back in the day, but yeah, I had a Gargoyles costume and it was pretty elaborate because it was like the gray gargoyle bodysuit and a mask, but then it just had these big, giant, like inflatable wings. And then the kids behind me would just keep messing with them while I was at school. And I was like, this is a horrible idea. And I feel super self-conscious because, yeah, I'm wearing this crazy costume. But that was a good one for sure. It definitely sticks in my memory as I've gotten older.
We debate all the time the greatest Halloween candy. Do you have a favorite?
I'm a Reese's pumpkin guy. Yeah, I think the Reese's taste better in different shapes specifically. So I like, yeah, but the pumpkin ones are good. I like those ones. Yeah.
I love that you guys are releasing the new album just in time for Halloween. It's so fitting.
I know, it's funny. We almost had a conversation about putting the album out on Halloween, but we realized, like, I think the whole goal of, like, when your album comes out is you hope that when it drops on Thursday, at midnight Eastern and 9 o'clock Pacific time, you hope that most people are, like, home to stream it. And we realized if we did Halloween, there's, like, a good chance that a lot of people would be out getting drunk and partying and, like, not wanting to listen to an album on Spotify. So we opted to do, like the week before, because we're like, it's still kind of hanging out in like spooky season, but it's not going to be on a major holiday where people won't be at home,
It cracks me up that there are people that are just discovering your band now and acting like you're a new band, even though you guys have been around for 13 years now?
Yeah.
You're an overnight success that's taken more than a decade.
It did take a long time. I know, it's funny that, yeah, sometimes we'll do an interview with somebody and they're like, yeah, you're like a new and up and coming band. And I'm like, I mean, like, people noticing us is new, but we definitely have paid our dues for a very long time to get to the point that we're at now. But honestly, I'll take it. Like, I'm flattered if anybody's heard of our band and likes our music, even if they think we're like new and fresh. Because I feel like we're like, most of us are in like our early or mid 30s too, so we're not like, it's like, yeah, we're not in our 20s and just flourishing. But like I said, better late than never, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I mean, you referenced that you spent a lot of time touring in a van. You got the bus now, so obviously you're doing something right, no matter how long it took.
Yeah, it did take a long time and a lot of sleeping and like bunks in a van, but some of those tours were really fun back in the day. But I wouldn't trade out the comfort of being in a bus now. That's for sure.
I've never talked to anyone in any band that would go back to the van, but also doesn't regret the van. That like the embracing the suffering together does something to kind of forge the band in a way.
No, it was so, yeah, it was just like, I have very fond memories of like first getting in a van, like no trailer, and you're jamming all of your equipment into like, you take a few rows of seats out and that's where you put all your gear. And yeah, just like, no, suffering is a good point. Yeah, we would literally just like we'd ask fans if we could like sleep at their house every night, so we have to pay for hotels. And it's humble beginnings for sure. I think it definitely makes us appreciate like any kind of amenities or luxuries we get now. Like, damn, we suffered a lot to get to this. So I know what you mean. Yeah, embracing this suck. The van it's a good memory, but I would like to not go back to that ever again at the same time.
I talk to a lot of songwriters and kind of everybody's process is a little different. Are you able to write while you're on the road, or do you need to kind of get away and have peace and quiet and kind of not be on the road to do it?
Yeah, preferably not. I think my mind gets so wrapped up in performing live, and I think like not being with my daughter on the road is a hard thing to adjust to. So most times I am just focused on just getting through the show, taking care of my voice out here. But sometimes, yeah, sometimes I'll get like an idea, maybe in the middle of a tour, and a lot of times I'll just voice note like the melody I'm hearing, and I'll type out like key of E minor, these chords, and then this is, the melody I had for it. And then if I think there's something there, I'll sit down with it again at home. But no, a lot of times, like, we'll just take chunks out of the year to just focus on writing and recording. So that's what we did with the new album. We took like all of September off last year, and then February off earlier this year to finish the record. And yeah, it's way easier to do when you're at home, because yeah, you can go home and work on stuff. And yeah, I know I've heard of some bands who do that. They do stuff on the road. I think it's would be a little overwhelming for us.
I love talking to rock star parents because we all grew up thinking that our parents were uncool. No matter how cool they were, you get to that point where your parents just aren't cool. Even Slash's kids didn't think Slash was cool growing up. How has the experience of fatherhood changed you? And are you ready to be uncool?
Oh, I'm so ready. It's funny. I have a buddy. His name's Bobby Johnson. He's my tattoo artist, and he won Ink Master like a year or two ago or something. He's like incredible. But it was when I first met him. He didn't know that I did music, and he asked what I did, and I was kind of I was just like, yeah, like I play music, and I don't like to brag or be like, yeah, like I tour and this and that. So I was just like, yeah, like, I'm a musician. So it's funny, he tattooed me like a bunch of times before he like realized that like I do it for a living and that it goes well and it's successful. And he's like, that's really cool that you like didn't brag about it. And I feel like we've related a lot in like just coming up in careers that are not like non-atypical, and it's hard to make a living off of it, and we both do it. But it's funny because he has two kids, and yeah, he was tattooing me one time, and he's like, isn't it like crazy that your kid like just is not going to grasp for a long time like who you are and like what you do? And I was like, yeah, like I'm fully ready to be uncool. And it's like my dad was an amazing singer, a great musician. Although to be fair, I never remember looking at my dad being like, oh, like you're so like not cool. But I don't know. I'm definitely ready for it. It's funny, yeah, because I'll even watch like famous actors will talk about their kids watching their movies, and they don't care. It's just like, yeah, that's my dad. Like, who cares? And so I'm hoping that like I can bring her into this at some point. We've been trying to figure out like the right age to maybe like bring her on the road for a couple of days. She'll come to like one-off shows at home, but we're trying to figure out when it makes sense to like bring her out for like a weekend or something. I just don't want her to like get horrible sleep on a bus, and I don't know, because yeah, it's funny. I've had like my ex-girlfriend out on a tour before, and she was just like, this is exhausting. Like, I have no idea how you do this like every day for like 6 weeks. I think your body gets used to it, but no, but being a father is cool. And being in a band, it feels like, if I'm in like the middle of nowhere playing a show and I'm like maybe not having a good day, and it's kind of like harder to get through a set than it normally is. I feel like I have like a beacon, like I have like something to actually keep working for. It's like, I think having a kid is like, it's cool because you get to live your life for somebody else other than yourself,
Well, I'll add you to the ever-growing list of rock stars that have beautiful daughters, because rock star revenge is a thing for a reason.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
Has it changed how you look at the world having a daughter?
I mean, it's scarier for sure. Yeah, I love being a dad, and I love my kid, but yeah, it's very like, it's just, yeah,
my dad said it to me too. He's like, I just like I worry about you and like your sisters and your brother all the time. And it's like, yeah, it's just a real thing. It's like and it's not like she'll turn 18 one day and go to college or do whatever, and it's like, okay, she's an adult. I don't need to worry. It's just like it hurts. So yeah, I think it's always just wanting to like. I think especially too because like I had like some rougher times in my upbringing just because my mom had like a past with like a drug addiction and stuff, and so there were just like some dark times in my upbringing, and I think like when you have your own kid and you've experienced things like that, you want to like shelter and protect your kid from kind of all like the darker and evil parts of the world. But it's good now. Like she's got a good mom. I feel like we're all on the same page that we just want to take care of her and make sure she has like a loving household. But it's great. Yeah, it's scary. Like I said, sometimes just trying to protect her from everything. But I wouldn't change it for anything. It's like the coolest part of my life so far.
I can tell you the worrying doesn't stop because my stepdaughter is 18 and we just moved her into her dorm for her freshman year of college. And you still worry.
I know. I'm prepared. I'm prepared for it all. Yeah.
You mentioned your dad also being a musician. I'm fascinated with the debate of whether or not musical ability is inherited or whether it's learned. What do you think?
I think it can be both. It's funny, yeah, because like our drummer Zach, like he's a fantastic drummer, but yeah, like none of his parents or his family really seemed to be like musicians, and he kind of just paved this path for himself, and I think it's super inspiring. And yeah, it was interesting, yeah, because before I ever even knew I wanted to sing, I just kind of grew up like just hearing from my dad's like from his like his brothers, his sisters, even like on my mom's side, people who knew my dad were just like, oh man, he's just like the best singer in the world. And it's true. He was an incredible singer. And I think yeah, I sometimes do wonder like, yeah, like if I have any talent or ability, is it just because we share like the same genealogy? And I don't know how it'll go for my daughter. And it does feel like a lot of kids like to sing, but I mean, she's singing a lot of the time, and it's funny because I feel like she's like 4, so she's not Mariah Carey, but yeah, sometimes she'll sing along to stuff, and I'm like, oh, you have like pitch control, and I don't know, it's interesting to hear too because I mean, like I listen to music in the car, but like I don't like force my music on her or anything. So it does seem like it could be inherited. I'm not really sure. It is an interesting question, isn't it?
I have a theory about your musical identity as a person, that you grow up listening to the soundtrack of your childhood, like what you're just talking about with your daughter, the music that you get exposed to unwillingly from your parents, your older siblings, the cool uncle. And then there comes a point where you say, oh, wait, I like that, whether it be a song or an artist or an album. And from then on, you kind of chart your own course. So what was the soundtrack to your childhood? And then what artist or album or song was it that kind of put you on your own path and went, okay, no, I like that because I'm choosing to like that?
Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of like old songs my dad or mom would play. Man, I'm like trying to think of. It's like if I hear it on the radio, I'd be like, "Oh, I love this song" because it reminds me of when I was a kid. My mom was like really into like Rod Stewart, for sure. But I think it's just because he was like a sexual icon, probably if she was like younger. She also liked like Don Henley. So it's funny we have like Boys of Summer on our like changeover playlists, and so. Yeah, there's like old classics like that it's probably like nothing I'd go out of my way to listen to, but like if it ever comes on, I'm like, don't skip it, because it like reminds me of my childhood. And then I feel like I don't know, yeah, when I started listening to like Linkin Park, or like Dashboard Confessional or Yellow Card, like kind of these more like, well, Yellow Card being more pop punk,
kind of an eclectic mix. Under Oath, I don't know, just all these bands where I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I kind of want to try and like make my own music in that format. But it is interesting you say that because I've always wondered that too. Like if you're, yeah, like if even as a songwriter now, if I'm like a byproduct of just things that I had to be forced to listen to when I was a kid, but it's still like shaping me as a songwriter.
Well, your mom had
even-
really good taste in amazing songwriters for music. Those guys, those songs are still on the radio for a reason because they're really good.
Yeah, yeah. No, she did have good taste for sure. But yeah, it's something I've thought about. Like because I think all the time, like, yeah, like I wonder if my daughter's gonna get into music. My dad, something I appreciated was my dad didn't really ever force it on me. Like I kind of just naturally picked up guitar and singing. And I think he was like so excited when he found out that I was going after it naturally, but he never was like, we got to sign you up for lessons and you got to do he kind of just let me find my love for music by myself. And so I'm pretty much just going to do the same thing with my daughter. It's like, if she wants to play anything or sing, like I'll help her as much as I can. But, I have thought like, oh man, I wonder if she writes songs one day because because all the time in the car, yeah, it's like I'm playing like pop music or just chill, mellow stuff, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'm like shaping how her brain will approach music if she decides to start writing songs in like 10 years or something. Who knows? It
cracks me up that there are so many people that don't understand like hard rock and metal, and they think it's this awful, satanic, dark, evil music. And the rock and metal community for a while now has been leading the charge when it comes to the discussion of mental health, suicide awareness, addiction, and some really positive things in a way that people are willing to talk about it, which is through song lyrics. Is it hard for you to channel really personal stuff like that into your music? Because you're very open and honest about the inspiration for your songs.
No, not really. Like, it's not hard to talk about. I think like when I started writing songs, when I was like 15 or 16, it felt kind of like a superpower in a way, because I felt like I'd go through like a breakup or something that really bummed me out, and I'd write a song about it, and then I'd feel better just like immediately, because I was like, wow, I took something that was painful and I like translated it into something productive. And I feel like it still kind of feels that way now. It's like, I think getting to write about like my dad passing away and any other hard thing I've dealt with in life, it always feels like it's like, I don't know. Yeah. Like it's like a beautiful thing, especially because I feel like I've met so many fans who unfortunately have dealt with cancer and tragic loss, like somebody they're really close to passing away. And like, I mean, I feel like I get like at least one message every day saying like, oh man, this Dark Sun album like really helped me through like a horrible time in my life. And like, it means a lot to me. And I think when I was a teenager and like, I didn't have like places to turn, like that's why I listen to music like Linkin Park or the Dashboard. It was just like, it was so like melancholy in tone, but like it made me feel less alone in my suffering. And so it's cool to have like a full circle moment with our band where it feels like we get to offer the same thing to people who listen to us. So no, I think most of the time it is like a beautiful thing to be open about your emotions, especially as like a guy, because I feel like as men sometimes we're kind of, and I have a bunch of atypical male friends who I feel like I have to check up on and kind of ask how they're doing, because like they won't tell me if they're going through a hard time, and I'm like, no, like it feels, you don't need to write a song about it, but even if you just like vent and talk about it, like I feel like you feel better, like you release some of the emotions you're feeling.
I just lost my mom in December, and when I talked to Wolfgang Van Halen, we talked about the experience of losing a parent and that it's the way nature is supposed to be, right? We're all supposed to lose our parents, as opposed to the reverse, which would be them losing us, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But it still sucks, and it's something we all have in common. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, where you live, that experience it's earth-shattering to lose a parent, no matter how old you are. And there's no way to prepare for it. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. No, you're right. I definitely, it was like kind of a weird circle of life because my daughter was like 6 months old around the time that my dad passed away. And it was, not to get too graphic, but yeah, it was just, we had to hang out with my dad in hospice for a little bit when he was like in the process of passing away. And it was not a very like pretty picture to kind of experience, but I had my daughter there with me, and it was definitely interesting. Yeah, just saying like, man, my dad is like, he's like he's at the end of his life. I'm like right smack in the middle of mine, and then my daughter, her life is just starting. It was definitely a weird kind of like cycle that you're like, oh, I guess like this is just, you're right. It's like that's how it's supposed to go though. Like in any ideal scenario, like yes, like I better die before my daughter does, because I will be a wreck if anything ever happened to her. But it's but it felt kind of I don't know, it like made me understand like, well, cool, like my dad carried me through life until, you know, he passed, and then now it's like my responsibility to do the same for my daughter, take care of her, and then yeah, one day I'll go, and then she might have a kid, and then, you know, it's a weird cycle that just kind of continues. But no, you're never ready for it. You know, it's just that finality of like, even still, I think as a parent, especially, sometimes I just have a question and I want to ask him something like, was I like this as a kid, or like, you know, like how did you deal with this? And it definitely sucks just being like, man, yeah, I can't text him or call him. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
it's the only way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's just because I have so many friends who still have both of their parents. And when we talk about it, I'm like, it just sucks. Like there's no other way to describe it that's better. It just sucks.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, I feel like I try and accept it more and more with time, but it's hard for sure. You know, I'll go visit his gravesite sometimes, and yeah, it's kind of that saying that people say like grief is not linear. Like there are some times where I'm like, it's fine, it's a part of life, I'm trying to accept it, and then yeah, sometimes I'll just have like a few drinks, and then I'll look at a picture of him and I, and then I'm like a wreck about it. It's just it's hard for sure. It's very hard.
Well, I appreciate you being able to channel that stuff into music, because as somebody going through loss, those things help. So just as a fan, thank you for being able to find a way to put things into words, because I, as everybody that listens to this show knows, don't have that ability. So I'm envious of it.
Thanks. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad it hopefully strikes a chord with you in a good way.
The new album, Creature in the Black Night, comes out October 24th, and we are going to see you at Silver Scream Con at the DCU Center in Worcester. If you go walking around the con, stop by the Mistress Carrie booth. I'll be there. It'd be nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, if you see me around or you're backstage or anything, just come up and say hi. It'll be nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. Thank you so much, Rory. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
There he is, Rory Rodriguez from Dayseeker. The new album, Creature in the Black Night, is coming out next Friday, October 24th. You can check out some of the music from the upcoming album in the corresponding playlist for this week's episode. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of my guest music and all the artists and songs that we referenced in the interview. You'll find it linked in the show notes, along with Rory's links, the Dayseeker links, and all the Mistress Carrie links. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday, plus every weekday you get the sit rep. The Situation Report breaks down all your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. You can join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern on my official Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube for my weekly streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room. And you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all of that and more at mistresscarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.